أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد أشرف المرسلين اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي بسم الله توكلت على الله ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. I'm gonna first welcome the special guest, our best month of the year, Ramadan. Of course, what else? And it's the month where the Quran, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala were revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our beloved Muhammad 1400 years ago, and anything that is related to the Quran becomes blessed. So do you know why the Ramadan is blessed? Because the Quran was revealed to Muhammad on that during that month. The angel Gabriel, he would come down to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to revise the Quran every Ramadan. So our intention is also to revive the sunnah of the Prophet alaihi salatu wasalam. It is astonishing to know that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was illiterate. I don't know how many of you knew that fact. He never learned to read or write. But many people of his time, they were طبعا the Quraysh in Mecca, they excelled in the knowledge of the Arabic language, especially in poetry. So for sure, they would have thoroughly scrutinized the Quran, but they couldn't fault it. They couldn't, because it's the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Instead, they were in an awe of it, knowing no way Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam could produce anything like it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in verse Surah An-Nisa, verse 82, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Can they not reflect and ponder? This is what we're supposed to be doing in the Quran. Reflect and ponder and understand, and then implement it in your life to see the changes in your life. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in this verse, can they not reflect and think about the Quran? If it was not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from someone else, then they would have seen so many discrepancies, so many differences. It would not have been harmonious. It would not have been so perfect in the language, in everything, in the science, in everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us in the Holy Quran. Awakening, because this is the title of the series. Awakening, inshallah, will be Ramadan series of daily lessons. We will discuss, we will study, we will reflect upon the jewels within Juz' Amma. Juz' Amma being chapter 30th, the last chapter of the Quran. When we learn, inshallah, after the end of Ramadan, you will never again read Juz' Amma in the same way, because you are going to understand it and love it and fall in love with it. Now, I'm going to first take you to the beginning of the Quran. In the second chapter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, in verse number 30, in Surah Al-Kahf, He said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the reasons for our existence. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 30. We've talked about this in previous Ramadan, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when your Rabbak, your Lord, Rabbak is the one who created you and gave you everything you need in your life, when He told the angels, I am putting a successor on earth. So this is the purpose of our creation, meaning that humans, you, me, we are given responsibility, we're given a purpose in life to be good and to do good on earth. And think to yourself, what have I done? And Allah put me a successor. What have I done? Now, by the time, now you're all going to start first juz' in the Quran. By the time you read, inshallah, all of you have at least the intention of doing one khitmah. By the time you reach the last juz', before you reach the last juz', you reach chapter 29, the one before the last juz', before Juz' Amma. What you should have been, you should have been enlightened, you should have been guided, and you should have been fully awakened to the purpose of your existence and to know your true identity. And that's what people are talking about nowadays. They lost their identity. We want to get back to that, to understand who we are. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in Surah Al-Anbiya, verse number 10, لَقَدْ أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكُمْ كِتَابًا فِيهِ ذِكْرِكُمْ. Indeed, we have sent down to you the book in which there is your dhikrikum, which mean it's your manual, your instruction book, your guidance, your elevation, your honor. And it's the cure. Don't forget, it also has the cure from every sickness, whether emotional or physical. But you have to believe in it and implement it. Read it, reflect upon it, and implement it in your life. Now, if you're still not awakened, then the 36 surahs of Juz' Amma, most of them were revealed in Mecca, only 3 in Medina, will be the final awakening call with its short beats of verses, and that touches your heart, move you, inspire you, nurture you, and awaken you to make the changes that bring out the best in you. I have chosen Juz' Amma because it addresses 4 essential points, matter, that have impact on your well-being, on my well-being, and on each one of us well-being. And psychiatrists, they say to you, the 2 things that will affect your well-being, and that's what this Juz' really concentrate on, is the way you think and the actions you take. Now, what are the things that are discussed or addressed in the Juz' Amma? 4 major points. It doesn't mean just only ones, but these are the major points. Who are you? Who am I? You will find many verses answering this. One of them is Surah At-Tariq, verse number 5. فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. It's Surah the Pulsar. Man should reflect on what he was created from. He's created from spurting fluid. And do you know that this scientific fact was mentioned to Muhammad 1,400 years ago, when no scientific facts was discovered by that time on how the formation of a human, how a human is formed, or the baby is formed in the mother's womb. And subhanallah, 1,400 years ago, this information given to us. And now, only recently, all those stages are given in specific stages, and it's also mentioned in the Quran. These are not coincidence. These are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So who are you? Why are you here? This is a question many people ask. Why am I here? And that leads them to go, like mad. Why am I here? Why do I exist? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to us very simple. And he said in Surah Quraysh, verse number 3, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. So let them worship the Lord of this house. There's a purpose for our creation to worship Allah, and the form of worship is not just salah, siyam. These are all skills that you need in your life. The worship Allah refers to is everything, even when you cook in the house, when you go to your job, how you deal with people, it's all a form of worship, everything. Where do I go next? How many of you ask this question or hear people asking that question? Where do I go next? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Surah Al-Alaq. And these are examples, not the only verses that have mentioned. Surah Al-Alaq, verse number 8, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to us, Inna ila rabbika ruj'a, and we will return to your Lord. You will, as all will return to your Lord. This is our destiny. This is the destiny that we want to work for, prepare ourselves for. And then comes a very important question being addressed and clarified. What is your true identity? We live in a society, people have lost their identity. They've gone astray. They don't know who they are, what they are. Juz' Amma helps you to identify and help and develop a sound, strong, stable, and solid self. So you have no confusion. I repeat, there's no confusion and nor any conflict with who you are. A clear cut over 3 things. Your gender identity. I know who I am. I am a female. I have female organs. I grew up as a female, and I will always be a female, and I will die as a female. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Layl, verse number 3, by the male and the female. He created وَمَا خَلَقَ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنثَى. He said it clearly. ذَكَرْ أُنثى. He didn't give us another option. He didn't say one can turn into another. It's very clear. The second thing that will help with develop my identity is the second point, where people want to belong and they don't know what they were, who they belong to. That sense of belonging. A Muslim have a sense of a belonging and love. You love one another. You belong to the Muslim community. You belong to everybody now with us. They are fasting today, Ramadan. We fast the whole month. We belong to the group that fasting. We belong to the group that doing Taraweeh. I belong. I have a sense of belonging. I have harmony within me. I am in peace. I have belonging. And those people I belong to, they love me and I love them. So that love and belonging. Listen to this hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said 1,400 years ago, the believers in their mutual kindness, compassion, and sympathy, they are just like one body. When one of the limbs suffers, the whole body responds to it with wakefulness and fever. Imagine you belong to those people. Wallahi, you're going to have so much inner peace and happiness and you feel, I belong. Another important point that tackled in this juz' and very, especially towards the end surahs, the characteristics, the values, the morals, the behavior, the actions, all controlled by the strength of your faith and connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what defines your identity. If I take Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Habibi Rasulullah, you know what he was identified as? He was identified with his values. What was he known as? As-Sadiqul Amin. This is why I want to identify. When you say, what do I identify as? I want to identify as learn from the Prophet, As-Sadiqul Amin, the truthful, the honest, the most trustworthy. And what's interesting, there was a research made, and they asked people to choose which character would you choose for a leader. And the majority have chosen integrity. And integrity meaning as-sadiq al-amin, the truthful and the trustworthy. So it's not a coincidence again there. Now the surahs and the verses of Juz' Amma, they connect, you will find them, they connect, like we saw before, connect and they link beautifully with the best and most effective and guaranteed approach to self-reform. That becomes an integral part of your identity. This will happen in 6 steps. So in other words, we're gonna, inshallah, each surah be grouped into topics, making it easier for you to understand and to help you develop and to become awakened. So the 6 groups are going to be Surah An-Naba, inshallah, starting from tomorrow, Surah An-Naba up to Abasa is going to be An-Naba, which is the announcement, the breaking news, to Abasa, which is he frowned, is going to be the awakening and awareness phase. The first topic. The second topic, it's at-takwir to al-inshiqaq, the rolling up to the cracking. And that is going to be the awaken to take action phase. And then the group number 3 is from al-buruj to al-ghashiyah, the towering constellation, to the overwhelming event. It's the challenges and keeping steadfast phase. Then number 4, the topic 4 is the relief and ease phase, which will include Fajr, Surah Al-Fajr, daybreak, to Surah Al-Layl, the night. Then from Surah Al-Duha to Surah Al-Qadr, Surah the morning brightness to the night of glory, is going to be the relationship with the Quran phase. And you will see it will elevate those learning and implementing the knowledge that they are gaining in their when they reflect upon the words. Now, group number 6 is gonna be Surah Al-Bayyinah, and that is clear evidence, to Surah An-Nas, to the last surah in the Quran, Surah An-Nas, the people, and that we will finish that inshallah towards the end of Ramadan. The choice and the accountability phase. The choice you make after gaining all the knowledge will affect your fate. Tomorrow, inshallah, today it was just an introduction. Tomorrow, inshallah, we will embark on the journey of awakening that will help you and me and everyone listening, inshallah, to build a healthy and strong identity. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. اللهم يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام، يا ذا الجلال والإكرام، اللهم اجعل تجمعنا هذا تجمعا مرحوما، وتفرقنا بعده تفرقا معصوما، ولا تجعل فينا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم لا تدع لنا في مقامنا هذا ذنبا إلا غفرته، ولا هما إلا فرجته، ولا محتاجا إلا أعطيته، ولا ضالا إلا هديته، ولا عسيرا إلا يسرته، ولا ممتحنا إلا وفقته ونجحته، ولا مسافرا إلا رددته بسلامة، ولا مريضا إلا شافيت وعافيت، ولا ميتا إلا رحمت، ولا ميتا إلا رحمت، ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا هي لك رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا أعنتنا على قضائها ويسرتها لنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها، أنت وليها ومولاها، لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. اللهم يا حي يا قيوم نسألك أن تعطينا بركات شهر رمضان. اللهم أعنا على الصيام وعلى القيام وعلى جميع الطاعات يا رب العالمين، واجعلنا فيه من المقبولين، واجعلنا فيه من المقبولين، واجعلنا من عتقائك من النار، وبلغنا ليلة القدر يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنك تعلم كل واحد مننا حاجاته، فيا قاضي الحاجات اقضي حوائجنا، يسر لنا أمورنا، اقضي حوائجنا، يسر لنا أمورنا، اغفر لنا، ارحمنا. يا غني أنت الغني اغننا بفضلك عمن سواك. اللهم يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث، أغثنا يا الله، أغث قلوبنا. وصلى ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد أشرف المرسلين، وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.